Scale edge in a second.
I mean, is Cooper Rush worth 2.5 points? I would hope Quinn Ewers put up a decent stat line against Arizona State. If he didn't, we have a real problem.
You can say the same thing about Creighton. Okay, they had the one good game against Kansas at home.
When Toast talks about the kicking market, it's like some earth is flat shit. Andy, true or false, this is going to be a dog walking.
Dog walking. This is my dog walking of the day. I think it's going to be very ugly. Dog walking. I think this is going to be ugly.
Hey, get the sauce. Greetings. Hope you're all enjoying March Madness, having a nice Thursday. It looks like Ski's trying to join. It keeps going. We're having problems with that. It took Chris a couple tries to get in as well. So, yeah, we got Thursday night NBA. Probably not going to be a ton of people in here. A lot of people are pretty invested in March Madness. As far as today, I haven't had a single bet yet. My first bet is starting in a few minutes, BYU. So I only have 3 bets open tonight. BYU, I have Texas A&M, and then I have an NBA bet, which we're about to talk about. So hopefully Ski's able to make it in here. If not, no big deal. We'll rip through these real quick. Ski, if you can hear me, like if it's not working, it's not working. There's 5 games. They suck. It's March Madness. Not a big deal. This first one, Brooklyn, Indiana, I think it's interesting because obviously what jumps out right away here is Indiana on a back-to-back, right? You got Indiana on 0 days rest, and they've been terrible on 0 days rest. They're 2-8-1 against the spread on 0 days rest this year. Blindly fading the Pacers on every back-to-back has been profitable. So right off the bat, we have the Pacers laying 8.5 points on a back-to-back. So how do we not take that? Well, here's why. Because it's actually a really nice-looking matchup for Indiana. So you have the 0 days rest, and that's concerning. Other than that, I mean, you have a Nets team that's been pretty ass against the fast break all season. They're one of the worst transition defenses in the NBA, and they've really struggled against teams that get out in transition. Against the top 10 teams in terms of transition frequency, they're 8-13 against the spread. Indiana also runs a lot of pick and rolls, and although the Nets' defensive numbers against the pick and roll look pretty good, they've struggled against teams that run them. So, I mean, there's a nice-looking matchup for the Pacers right there. Also, the Pacers are I'm
really
sorry.
good guarding the three-point shot,
Yeah,
and that's all that's what I want to do. You took the notes right away from me, Cal, because I was thinking the same exact thing.
Yeah, Nets have been taking a lot of threes. Yep.
Yeah, they've been covering, Cal. They just covered back-to-back games against Boston. But Boston is the total opposite team of the Pacers. Like, Boston plays slow. They get back in transition. Like, they shoot a ton of threes, and it just feels like. And you added to the fact Tyrese Halliburton didn't play last night. If he plays, then the line should move. And then you also added to the fact that Cam Johnson is going to be he's already ruled out. So now you're down Cam Johnson and Cam Thomas. I'm not sure how Brooklyn is going to be able to keep up if Indiana puts their foot to the pedal in this game either, Cal, especially with a rested Tyrese Halliburton who hasn't played in like 3 straight games. So you're right. Situationally, it makes a lot of sense to take Brooklyn plus the points. They've been covering machines. I think they've covered 4 of their last 5, but I didn't bet it. I didn't bet it for that reason. Maybe if Tyrese Halliburton gets ruled in and we can get like a 10.5, I'll take the points for Brooklyn. But it feels like Brooklyn is supposed to, Brooklyn's still going to be the public dog in this spot. And it makes sense, especially when you're down by 5 points with a minute left to the Dallas Mavericks, like the Pacers were last night.
Well, I mean, you can actually put the Pacers up for me. I have one NBA bet. We'll get to it in 1 second. This is probably the second one I'm considering taking right here. Is Circa has this one down at 8. If I can get a 7.5, I'd probably do it. Like I said, I love the matchup for Indiana. They're at home against a bad Nets team. If Tyrese Halliburton is going to play, I'm in. I'll lay this with Indiana, but I haven't bet it yet. I'm waiting to see. It's tough to lay a big number with the Pacers on a back-to-back. That just seems crazy. So it's Pacers or pass for me. I am considering Indiana. As of right now, I have not bet it. Next. Looks like Ski's not going to make it. And I mean, I could see him trying to join. Like, it's popping up and saying loading. We're having problems with it, so not a big deal.
Do you want my aura on the screen, or
do you want to talk?
I mean, I could add a thing or two.
Sure, yeah.
Okay,
but
yeah.
I mean, if you want to put yourself on the screen, put yourself on the screen. Next up is Knicks Hornets, and this is my only bet. I'd probably still
the under.
No, I got the Hornets at 9 last night.
I'm
not. I'd probably still play it at 7.5. It was really more of like a top-down approach. The Knicks were down double digits last night to the Spurs, and it was obvious that it was not going to be smooth sailing for the Knicks. They were going to have to try to fight and get back in the game. They're on a back-to-back. They've been one of, if not the worst team in the NBA on 0 days rest. So they're immediately have to fly to Charlotte and play the Hornets after having to try and fight back and win the game. Now, I do like the matchup for the Knicks defense. They've been playing some really good defense as of late. But normally, when a team's on a back-to-back, it seems like the side of the court that takes the bigger hit is the defense. I don't necessarily trust a team's defense when they're on a back-to-back. Seem like these guys on the back-to-back still like to score points, but the defense tends to take a hit. So even though I do like the matchup for the Knicks defensively, it's on 0 days rest. Remember, there's no Mitchell Robinson. He's been ruled out. Deuce McBride might not even play. Now, maybe I'll get screwed here by a LaMelo Ball, ruled out last minute again. He's listed as probable, but I like the number. I believe I told everyone last night that I would play this down to 7. So if you haven't gotten on the Hornets, if you're not in the group, it didn't get the +9 last night, I think it's still worth a shot at +7.5, honestly. We're talking about a home dog with a big number, a Knicks team missing its best player, missing Mitchell Robinson on 0 days rest where they've been terrible. It's ugly. It's the Hornets, but I bet Hornets +9. Chris?
Oh man, this is the ugly dog here, Cal. And I agree. I do agree with what you said. I watched the post game interview last night, just kind of going back to the situational spot. Josh Hart was saying how they went on the road for like a week and a half. They come home for one game against the Heat, immediately fly right back to San Antonio. So like he wasn't blaming it on all that, but it was a terrible situational spot. I think it's been 11 straight gyms that the Knicks have played basketball in, because they haven't had 2 back-to-back home games. So it makes a ton of sense. Can I put my hard-earned money on Charlotte? No, I can't, Cal. I still can't. I know that I agree with you. LaMelo's back. Hopefully
I think the Hornets might win this game, if I'm being honest.
See, the reason why I don't think so, but I think that they can cover it, is because the Knicks lost last night. So I expect a lot better effort from the Knicks. And also, like, Mamush Billy scored 34 points. Nobody on Charlotte is scoring 34 points. That's remember
what are you talking about? LaMelo Ball.
Nah, not LaMelo. I don't think so.
Are you crazy?
I mean, LaMelo might play one quarter. Like he might not even play. Like who really knows what LaMelo Ball? I don't think so, Kyle. Charlotte offense is absolutely atrocious, and I'm expecting the Knicks defense to at least show up in this game. The Spurs were the number 1 rated offensive team last 10 games. Remember you said that yesterday?
Number 1 defensive. Number 1 offense. Yeah.
Guess what Charlotte is? Not close to number 1.
But hold on. Okay, yes, the Spurs offense is significantly better than the Hornets offense right now. Point taken. But it's the Knicks defense on a back-to-back, and it's the Knicks defense without Mitchell Robinson, possibly without Deuce McBride. It's a very short-handed Knicks team. If Deuce McBride's out, who's handling the ball? Who's the primary ball handler?
Campaign.
Come on.
Josh Hart.
Yeah, I think the Hornets are going to win this game.
Okay. That's what he tell me probably.
Yeah, my analysis for this game is and we can move on to the next.
Let's go to the next one. Chicago, Sacramento. Okay, so
wow, what is this?
We got Bulls are on the road in Sacramento. Both of these games are on both these teams are on back-to-backs. Both played last night. Both are pretty terrible on 0 days rest this year. I'll check this out. Chicago on 0 days rest, 2-8 against the spread. The Kings on 0 days rest, 3-10 against the spread. So you kind of want to fade both of these teams on 0 days rest. Unfortunately, you can't fade them both. The Kings have been less profitable against teams that get out in transition like the Bulls, so I suppose that's something. I think the Kings are a significantly better team than the Bulls are, but the Bulls have been outperforming expectations as of late. They've been playing better than I believe them to be. I personally have this one at 9.5, 10, so I guess it would be Kings, but this is an ultimate pass across the board here for me, so... Kings or pass?
So Zach LaVine did come off the injury report. What did the line go to, Kyle? What is it at right now?
You're saying Kings or pass, because but the game is Raptors Warriors.
Oh, wrong game.
Oh, I have Bulls Kings third.
I mean, we could. I mean, there we go. Now we're.
Okay,
on that one. There we go.
So
Do you want to talk about Raptors Warriors first? You did the poll, so let's talk about Raptors Warriors first.
Okay, go ahead.
My bad. I was just going by the order on my sheet. So, Raptors Warriors. I'm not opposed to a bet in this one either. Let me make sure there's no injury updates. Yeah, it looks like we're gonna get a full strength Warriors team out there. There's a couple matchups I like in this one for the Raptors, but the truth is, even if I tweak it a little bit towards Toronto, I still have Golden State by 17 in this one. So I actually considered laying the 14 with the Warriors. I don't think it's a bad bet to lay the big number. This Warriors team, it's long past the point of they're just playing well right now. They're on a high vibe because of Jimmy Butler. Like, now this is a strong team that can score on anybody. The Raptors have been playing good defense. Let's give them some credit. This has been a top 10 defense in the last 10 games, but the Warriors have been shredding good defenses all year. In fact, if you've been betting the Warriors against good defenses, you're doing great. They're better against good defenses than they are against bad defenses. The Warriors, okay, so check this out. The Raptors are a top 10 defense in the last 10 games. The Warriors are 15-7 against the spread against top 10 defenses this year. So I don't even give a shit about the Raptors defense. On the road in Golden State, they're going to get scored on. Now, the Raptors are going to be able to force some turnovers. Warriors are going to be able to force some turnovers right back. Kind of a coin flip in that department. Like I said, the Warriors are going to be able to score on the Raptors defense no matter how good they're playing. And if you take away how well the Raptors have played defensively, I don't really know what else the Raptors offer you. So I think it's Warriors via blowout. Like I said, I have this one about 17. I didn't bet it, but if I can get a 14, you can get a 14 on FanDuel right now. I'm not going to force anything. The NBA's been going so well for me. I'm not going to force it, but I do think the Warriors cover this.
Probably, you got anything for this one?
I'm on kind of an so that's all I've got.
That's all you got. I'll be short because I didn't bet this one either. Initially, I leaned under Kyle. This total opened really, really high, and then RJ Barrett got ruled out, and I don't want anything to really do with Toronto. I did consider taking Toronto, but I don't want anything to do with Toronto looking at their offensive metrics as of late. Do I think Golden State's capable of winning this game by this margin? I think they absolutely are. But Toronto defensively, Kyle, I kind of disagree with you there. I think that they can slow Golden State down a little bit if Jakob Poeltl plays and they can actually like be competitive in the rebounding battle. So that's where we'll disagree, but I didn't bet the game either. So it's no Toronto or Golden State ticket in my pocket.
Bro, y'all got to stop bullying me for my acne. Yeah, I had a breakout on my face, okay? I bought some product, and now it's going to go away soon.
That's real? I thought that was a thing on camera.
No, I got some acne going on.
That doesn't look like acne. That looks like you got in a fight with a cat.
No, so what happens is I think I'm Dr. Pimple Popper himself, and then I make some scars on my face, but they go away after a while.
Jesus Christ, take a shower.
I do take shower. What the... Don't get me started.
Let him up, probably. Yeah, let him up.
Because that's a proper response. Take a shower. Get the hell out of here.
I saw it on the thing. I thought it was like scratches. I didn't know it was acne. Chicago, Sacramento. I already went through this one. I think it's Kings. I personally have this one at Kings -9. So I guess at -7 it's Kings. But I can't even put into words how low my confidence level is in this handicap. I feel like I said, the Bulls just keep outperforming expectations. I don't think the Bulls are this good. I think they're one of the worst teams in the NBA. But how many times can they play well before I have to be like, you know what, the Bulls are pretty good? So I don't know. I think Kings by about 10, but I'm good. Pass on this one.
If there is a spot that you want to fade them, Kyle, is off the back-to-back when they have to travel. They're 1-4, I think, against the spread and straight up in that spot.
That's the Bulls.
That's what I'm saying. That's what you want to fade the Bulls on.
Oh, say that again. Say that again.
So if there's a spot you want to fade them, it's on the back-to-back when they had to travel. That's when like they don't perform.
And
well.
What was the record in those spots?
1-4 straight up and against the number in that spot. This is actually the only game that I played, Kyle. I actually played the over. It went down to 233.5, and I saw Zach LaVine was off the injury report, and I grabbed the over then. You mentioned a little bit of it, and the biggest thing for me is Chicago. What do they want to take a lot of their shots? At the three-point line. Sacramento's three-point defense has been terrible. Also, Chicago does a really good job of getting out and running in transition. Sacramento is one of the best transition defenses in the NBA. But if you look at Sacramento's transition defensive numbers on the second leg of back-to-backs, they're actually one of the worst transition defenses. So I do think they'll be able to score. The Sacramento Kings they've been living in the mid range. Zach LaVine back, DeRozan. For whatever reason, Chicago's defense against the mid range shot has been terrible as of late, and I don't think it's gonna get any better last night. We did see Phoenix score a ton of points against them last night, and I think Sacramento's offense is somewhat close to playing a little bit like the Phoenix Suns. So yeah, I bet over. I got 233.5 in this one.
I don't hate an over. I mean, it's hard to argue with an over. Two teams that can score, play fast pace on a back-to-back where we might see minimal defense. Can't argue with an over there. Did you have any thoughts, Prop Beaver?
I don't have a single thought for any game. I was just here to
Yeah,
I guess
just fill
add
up
a
the
little
screen.
bit of entertainment, get bullied for my face, and that's pretty much
No,
it.
see, the fact that's growth, because the fact that he came on the screen with nothing to say, with having an acne problem, that's called confidence, guys, and it needs to be
Facts.
respected.
Yeah.
That's why he's a living legend.
Speaking of piles of shit, let's talk Bucks Lakers injury report. Hachimura is not returning. Luka Doncic out. LeBron's still out. Maxi Kleber still out. Austin Reeves isn't going to play. Vanderbilt's out. Finney Smith is out. Well, those last two are doubtful, but let's just say out. Someone just said in the comments that Lillard is now questionable.
That is true.
It's freaking crazy, dude. It's so crazy.
Want to go ahead and start talking about tomorrow's slate, Cal? Or you want to just wrap it
Oh
up?
I am ready to fire on tomorrow's. I have two games I love. I'm just waiting for the lines to open. So yeah,
You said that with so much more joy than what you were talking about when I talked about this. When you talked about this game,
You know what it
Your
is?
whole emotional.
So the other night I was in a similar position where I'm handicapping the games a day in advance and just waiting for those lines to open. And I just did this the other day, and the three that I fired on early were Rockets over Orlando, hit, Jazz over the Wizards, hit, Pistons, Heat over, hit. So all three of those spots that I had lined up waiting for the lines open,
Feeling
all
good about
hit.
yourself,
So
huh?
I have two spots for tomorrow. I'm sitting there like in the sniper's perch, waiting for them to open. Nothing yet. But anyway, I guess we'll talk about this shit game. I think the role players for the Lakers are playing better than they're getting credit for. Guys like Jackson Hayes and Gabe
Agreed.
Vincent. So I think you take a couple pieces out. You take Luka Doncic out and Austin Reeves and, of course, LeBron James. And it's like, oh, the Lakers suck. When it's like, I think there are pieces there for the Lakers that are still down to play some defense. A Goodwin or a Gabe Vincent or a Jackson Hayes. So I still think the Lakers can play a good defensive game here. In fact, it looks like the 8s are disappearing. I might take a Lakers +8 on DraftKings right now before it goes.
I mean, here's the one thing I can add. You take Dorian Finney-Smith and Vanderbilt off the court. Those are two pretty pivotal defensive players
You're
for this
forgetting
Lakers
about a
unit.
man named Gabe Vincent.
All right, but I mean,
Have you ever heard of him? You ever heard of him?
No, I've heard of Gabe Vincent. I've heard some things JJ Redick has said about him too. I don't even know if he's the
Dude,
biggest fan
JJ
of him,
Redick,
so.
he's crazy now.
He's crazy.
He turned into like a hot take, dude.
He turned
And he's
into
like a head
He's a
coach.
madman.
turned into a hot
Yeah, he's a
head.
madman.
Yeah.
All right, Chris, talk about your favorite team.
Man, it's not much to talk about here. The disagreement I have with you slightly, Kyle, is I'm not sure where the playmaking comes from for the Lakers. Like when you take LeBron and Luka and Gabe and Austin Reeves off the floor, like Shake Milton gonna be out there running the point guard. You know what I mean? Do you understand what I'm saying?
No,
Robbie?
I get exactly what you say. I don't know where the offense is coming. The defense, like a lot of the defensive guys are off the floor besides Jackson Hayes and sure, Gabe Vincent. I mean, I don't know if he's playing three positions at once, but like I'm just not seeing. I mean, that this might be one of the worst teams we've seen on the floor this year, and there have been some abominable units on the court this year. So I don't know.
What about Jordan Goodwin, who has a plus .61 in defensive E EPA?
Good. he's good.
Goodwin is
He's good.
feisty. You're not going to get me
That's
saying
what I'm
anything
trying to
bad
tell
about
you
Goodwin.
guys is Vanderbilt, Finney Smith. What about Goodwin, Vincent,
Okay,
Jackson
so
Hayes?
honestly, maybe an under, just because
I was
like,
gonna say
the
under.
offense is
No,
going to be
under,
horrendous,
under.
and the only positives for the Lakers would be any defensive prowess that some of these guys, these lesser-named guys, could provide, such as a Goodwin, a Vincent, and Hayes. So that'd be my only suggestion.
Should we go under?
I think it's under 2. What I had in my notes earlier before Austin Reeves got ruled out was Bucks team total under. But like you said, Prop Beaver, without without Jared Vanderbilt and Dorian Finney-Smith, like that's a little shaky. But
Yeah.
I said this yesterday, Cal. But this was before, of course, the Denver Nuggets ended up ruling their guys out. I said that the Lakers' defense at home had been really, really good. 12 of their last 14 opponents have stayed under their team total, and their average, the Bucks only averaging 103 points when they're playing against a team that has a better record. Now, of course, given this rotation, they'll have a much better record than the Lakers. But the Lakers are 8-1 to the under, and they've held 9 of their last 10 opponents under their team total when they're playing at home. Only gave up 110 one time since the All-Star break, and that was a game that they scored 130 and still ended up covering the number against the Utah Jazz. Milwaukee's offense is 21st rated last 5 games, and taking a bunch of 3-pointers and mid-range shots. The Lakers' defense had been good, but without the rotational pieces, I'm not taking this game. But I would be with you, Kyle. It would be Lakers plus the points because I don't want to lay with the Bucks. I know
I'm not doing Lakers anymore. I'm taking this under.
Yeah,
7-11, I think, is what their road record is as a favorite, and then it will be towards the under as well.
I mean,
I
and
just took the
Lillard got
under.
added to the report, right? Is questionable. I mean, Kyle, what do we know? This Bucks offense, when Lillard and Giannis are both on the court, very, very potent. But what have we seen from this Bucks offense when just one of these guys misses? Actually, like a pretty bad offense. So, yeah.
I just got under 221.5, and it seems to be dropping. DraftKings is down at 220.5 now. Pinnacle still at 221.5. So if Lillard is ruled out, I love this under. It's small bet on the under here. All right, let's have a good night. If you're in the group or you have the Sauce Network app, keep an eye out for the noties because I'm going to be firing when these lines open for tomorrow's ship. So see you all at midnight for the. We'll talk some March Madness with Toast. Yeah.